It's time.
Okay.
For the most important category.
Yeah, we're now hitting the joke categories we have from year to year. Where we have like, what was the last year? Like worst. Like, what's the worst character? I don't know. We sometimes we invent stuff just to talk about stuff, and here's because we had a couple content missteps. The most underappreciated ball move content of 2018. We have the Mary Giamatti Christmas. We have the Super Serious Film Fest Season of the Cage. We have our Twitch.tv experiment, and then two serious answers: The Deuce and The Expanse.
Oh, I think the most serious answer is Christmas 2018. I think,
okay,
like, with the exception of maybe 2 and 3, this list is appropriately sorted. But I want to talk about all these because,
yeah,
I mean, this is more just an outlet for us to talk about.
Yeah, it's almost like
things that we did wrong that we know we did wrong.
It's almost like
how we're gonna fix them.
And it is a stealth empire business.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where do we go wrong with the Paul Giamatti Christmas? Because it seems like it's axiomatic to be like, if we came back with the sequel Christmas and did, for example, Home Alone 2, Die Hard 2, like all these other, like, you know, just the sequel Christmas movies, and then picked Miracle on 34th Street, and
that doesn't feel bigger and better at all.
And we got the Advent calendar booze, and we got our drunken lunches. People would have loved it, and we would have spent 1/10 of the time and effort on it.
In my mind, that's more of the same. It's not bigger and better. And what we were going for, I think, this year was bigger and better, right?
Do we think that we underestimated some outsized enthusiasm for some of our Paul Giamatti? People mailed us Giamatti masks and drew us some Giamatti cartoons, sent us a life-size stand-up of Paul Giamatti, and we're like, oh, this has really penetrated the Bald Move audience. So if we sat something like this is the year of the Giamatti, what if we sat a Christmas play around kind of like the Bald Move version of Paul Giamatti, the character, which is a very specific kind of pop culture take on the man himself. And I thought, you know, like it seemed very ambitious, like, and it kept on getting bigger and bigger, and we had the time that we needed to execute, but we had started early enough that we didn't chicken out. We actually kind of executed a version of something. I just think that we screwed up that not everyone is as into the Giamatti stuff.
Yeah, I think it was a miscalculation. It wasn't something where we under-delivered.
It's like 10% of the Bald Move audience was as in on the joke as we were.
Yeah, and we had like discussions leading up to this about how to go bigger and better this year, right? Because we knew, okay, we've kind of escalated this every year with like better booze calendars and going all the way back to the first one where we just hung like booze on a tree. Yeah. And that was fun. And then we did like, you know, the 12 Days of Christmas thing. Right. Or 25 Days of Bald Move, whatever it was.
Then we did the Badass Christmas. And
right. And it always felt like we were doing something that was fun and interesting and getting bigger and better with it. And this was going to be the ultimate culmination before we collapse it back into something smaller.
Like,
and take it back, scale it down again.
Maybe we can do another one of these in a couple years when we build up some time and all that. But yeah.
And it sounded like a great idea.
And the whole at no time did I think, oh, we are fucking up. Like, I thought the script we wrote was clever and funny,
and we spent a long time tuning it and getting it to where we felt good about it.
And it rhymed. There was actually,
I mean, isn't that step one, rhyme?
There was some pretty. I thought there was some pretty sick flow. Not like, you know, like, but there's there's some pretty creative work there, and I thought agree. That like at every stage, like, you know, when we broke everything down to the scenes, and when we come up with and we had the ideas to do like the paper dolls and blow them up and go like Gonzo practical when Paul has his nervous breakdown, like all that seemed like good ideas. Okay, another misstep. I don't think our audience has been trained to, like, if we made a bunch of 30 to 60-second videos, and that's what we were known for, but what we're known for is long form,
that's
like funny, bro-y reviews of movies and television, and what we did was short form entertainment over 24 days out of a month.
But I thought that would work because people liked the the 24 days of Bald Move Christmas.
I thought people would look forward to like each day a little bit more, a little bit more.
I mean, we, instead of like buying this advent calendar of booze and drinking it, we were creating an advent calendar. Essentially.
Yeah.
We thought it would be little special packages every day.
Yeah.
And that sounded like a cool, fun idea.
You get like 5 minutes of like funny, and like I thought that we went in because we also threw in Guy Ferrari. We had I just thought that this was a lot.
Yeah, we brought back a lot of recurring jokes.
Right.
From Bald Move.
Right.
Lore.
But
that was the fundamental miscalculation. I think is you nailed it. It's about length of content.
Yeah.
People sit down to feast on our content. They don't sit down to snack.
Yeah. And it's like it didn't hit all of our standard. Like there was not like you can't enjoy it on a podcast player.
Yeah.
I think that. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying that like I think the people that liked it really liked it, and I do.
And I still really love it.
I still really like it, and you can see we stitched them all together, so you can just watch the whole thing. It's like what 9 minutes long.
Oh, it's much better to watch all together.
Yeah, you just sit there and watch the thing, and like I'm still proud of it. I'm like, and one of these days, I hope real soon before we get another television show, like as soon as we get done with the Baldies, like there'll be like a week or two where we're still doing only one show. I would like to do like a behind the scenes to kind of like walk through the special effects and share some just to put a bow on it, and then we can finally be rid of this thing.
I feel like any invested time in this thing after the fact is probably a waste.
Yeah, but like
unless you're just personally like I want to do this.
I don't know. Maybe people, because the other thing is like it wouldn't surprise me if this becomes like. Because the other thing,
cult Bald Move classic.
There's one more, I think, fatal flaw of this three-legged stool of failure. We overestimated the appetite for Giamatti lore. The short form video content was something out of our kind of like wheelhouse, and people didn't train. Also, the lead up to this show was pretty not great. Like our last big show was the Deuce, then we had the Romanov, so it's actively. Drove people away from our Bald Move TV feed.
Damn near drove me away.
And then so leading up, we had like 6 weeks of nothing but club content that was kind of floating this thing. And also this kind of leads up to the Super Serious Film Fest. Wasn't a unqualified success.
I think it was probably more of a success than the Christmas stuff because it had accompanying podcasts, which are the traditional form of media we
of the type of films that we are known for.
Yep.
And every
fun and funny reviews,
and Nick Cage is a cultural pop figure. Like you can kind of build a silly, super serious kind of. So do you want to pivot to Super Serious Film Fest? Like
so I think the real problem with this is simply the time investment. And if we found a way to scale it back, it would be much more popular. Because honestly, I think there wasn't a huge difference in format from what we usually do.
And everything we tried to make it, because that's the thing we tried to because this was designed to be something that keeps engagement for the movie, because the movie feeds is one of our more popular things, and if we can build that into something where people expect weekly content.
We didn't put it in the movie feed.
Well,
it was only in the Super Serious Film Fest feed, because a lot of the, at least on my side of the fence, a lot of the impetus here was to get something on YouTube that could start to branch our audience out to there. And so I very much thought of this as a video first thing. And I wanted it to kind of stand on its own. I know you pushed back against that because you thought, well, we should release podcasts of all this stuff. And
why wouldn't we?
Right. And I kind of went along with that, but the place where I stopped was releasing it in the movies feed.
So I didn't know we didn't do that.
I don't know. I still have a hard time calling that a mistake.
No, I mean, it's
because it's a good experiment.
Worst, it's an experience. It's an A/B test, right?
Yeah. And next time we release it in the movies feed, but that's the thing. The movies feed is a guaranteed 5,000 to 7,000 downloads. Period.
Right.
No matter what we're covering. So I don't know what that would tell us.
Well, so here's my thought.
If next time we did it in the,
I think that for Super Serious Film Fest shows that there is an appetite for a themed series of reviews of movies. Okay, I think that core idea.
The thing I like most about it. Yeah,
I think that the things that we tried to do, to try to make it extra and justify it being club content is where we went wrong. That
Like the rewrites?
The rewrites were hard to do because it's essentially a long form quip that you don't get to like say, this topic's not interesting. Like, right. And we didn't know that because we kind of game planned out like, and we did like 2 or 3 movies just kind of like, could we do this? And the ones we picked were the easiest ones.
Yeah, The Rock turned out to be the best, sure, and it was the first, and it gave us this false impression that they'd all be that easy.
Right, and then you get to something like adaptation, like Jesus Christ, or Weatherman. Like, do you go funny or serious? And
right.
Like that was tough. And once we started to get to tough, I think it went fine. The live watches, like the thing is I don't know. The live watches are in a tough place because to do them right, we'd have to like do a deal with the studio to like the broadcast a movie and our commentary at the same time, or we'd have to like partner with somebody like Riff Tracks that's got this technology figured out that like we can synchronize our track with a movie and like do it very easy and automatic. But the compromise thing we do gets copyright strikes, which are bullshit, and we like, I think live watches have legs, but to make them easy, we violate copyright, and to make it support copyright, it's hard to enjoy. And I don't know, but I think Super Serious Film Fest will continue forward, but they'll be just essentially themed movie reviews that come out at targeted times.
Yeah, and I think we'll keep it, both podcast and video format, I imagine, on that.
Yeah.
Because I do like 2019 is one of those things where I think video could be important for us long term.
Yeah, I see more and more people releasing. I don't want to
sacrifice podcasting for that, but
yeah, I think we could easily like once we get the new studio where we get our audio and video dialed in, we can easily not just release the whole podcast, like maybe minus the feedback, but maybe like the thing that I'd really like to do is that like pull a 10 or 15 minute interesting conversation out of like the True Detective podcast. Or out of any podcast, and like throw that up there, because I see there's some content creators are doing that. Like, actually, that's what Twitch is doing. That really pour gasoline on their growth is like YouTube is kind of like the shitty version of Twitch, but what it's really good is taking the good 10 or 15 minutes out of an hour stream and posting it there and saying, if you want to watch this live, go to twitch.tv/bumfuck. And I think that could be it. That could be what Bald Move does, is just Bald Move logo, 10-minute interesting conversation about something culturally relevant. For more great podcasts and videos, go to baldmove.com. And I think and if we build an audience, if it becomes a gasoline for a podcast fire, great. If we build a video audience, even better.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's probably like you gotta start giving those clips like provocative might be the wrong word, but provocative type names.
Yeah, clickbait.
Like, and then like,
and clickbait images. Like you expect to see lots of faces where we're like, or like,
no, I can't.
No, hey, if you're gonna go kill clickbait, then you don't half clickbait. You go full clickbait or not at all.
I think that, but I think like explicitly that works for that short form. Like, here's a couple of minutes to get you interested in what we're doing.
Yeah.
But for the long form stuff, I think you very much keep it like, this is episode 3 of season 3 of this show.
Sure.
And, people tune in because they're looking specifically for that content.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like content that people search for and content that catches people's eyes.
Yeah.
And I think we don't leverage the latter at all. But maybe sometime this year if we get somebody in the studio to help us out with that.
So anything that we want to say about Super Serious Film Fest, or we move on to twitch.tv?
I don't think it was more underappreciated than Christmas. I think that's in the right order so far.
Yeah, because like Super Serious, I think we were kind of like, we're not sure if this is a thing. This is a thing we're trying to do to like try to replace the content we were losing for not doing commissioned podcasts, to try to do some interesting club content, to try to do something that's, because we're trying to fit seasonal stuff, because we don't every time we add a club thing, we don't want to be like, oh, we have to do this in addition. We want to be able to move things in and out to keep things fresh for us and you. So
some of the nostalgia stuff.
Yeah. Like some of the nostalgia. Yeah.
To cover stuff we hadn't talked about. That's awesome.
Let's talk about twitch.tv.
Okay. This is one that
the people that liked it. And we had a very faithful, regular crew of audience but here's the problem.
Okay. This is a weird one because I know we're not going to do Christmas 2018 again.
Yeah.
There's no way we do that format again.
Yeah.
Super Series Film Fest, I'm almost positive we will do that again in a more limited fashion. Twitch TV is very much up in the air.
Yeah.
Because I think there could be an audience for us.
And I think we'll do things
we just didn't hit it quite right.
Like we're obviously going to use this for our Groundhog's Day stuff. I could see us again, if we ever came up with like a co-op or adversarial game that Jim and I were both in, like I think it was really, of all of our streams, like the Sea of Thieves and like the Spy Party, and some of the early, like some of the Rocket game stuff where like the thing with Rocket League is the stakes are they're so low. But I thought like us playing Rocket League, like especially like some of the stupid shit like basketball was super fun.
That was fun. Yeah.
Or if we took Rocket League and we actually got good at it, where we could play semi-competitive duos, like it's got to be, we have to have a reason to go to Twitch, because tune in for 3 to 4 hours twice a week of us playing whatever we're going to play is not going to bring the boys and girls to the yard. Well, it'll bring the same 30 to 40 boys and girls that we all, that
we're propping that up.
We're propping it up, and they're being very supportive, and they were being very generous with their bits and their subscriptions.
To the point where I felt guilty.
To the point where we felt, because that's the thing. Like
week in and week out, I'm going to come back and take your money.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way.
Why do I feel this way? Why do I have a conscience? God damn it!
Right. Can I uninstall this? Can Aaron 2.0 just omit the guilt for taking money for services? Or you feel like you have to have? I don't know. But yeah, I just think that like also we had a kind of rough luck that it's hard to play a game and be entertaining and interface with chat. And some of the games we played, I felt like, because I haven't mastered that, it was very hard for me to pay attention to what you were doing in like God of War, which has a very deep crafting and like weapon customization system that we never really paid attention to, and intricate combat mechanics based on different weapons and shields and shit that you got that we never paid attention to, and a story that we barely engaged with because it was too hard to do that. I think that the Detroit Becoming Human was a very successful stream because we kind of did the same shit.
Kind of just a live watch, right?
Right. But then people kind of felt pissed that we weren't being as interactive about the choices we made, and we were a little trolly about some of the choices we made, and But so like I think the Twitch audience wants you to play the games they want you to play at the times that they can watch it, and the ones that are most successful essentially play 16 hours a day, and they play like 2 8-hour shifts, and guess what? You can't do a podcast. You can't run a podcast empire and play video games for 16 hours a day.
No, you can't.
I can't anyway. There might be guys out there that can. So that's. Do you want to say more about Twitch?
I'll say I don't think that's totally off the table for 2019. I think we would like to find a way to get back to it eventually, but
and it's something like Assess and I play quite a few co-op video games, and we always think it'd be super fun to play like them in front of an audience. But you know, that's the other lesson I learned, is that some things that are fun when you play by yourself, second you make it a performance, it's it sounds crazy, but playing video games for an audience turns it into a job.
Yeah.
So, you know, having to be like, well, if we just have time, we'll play it tonight, versus, well, we have to play from 7 to 9 tonight because it's Wednesday. That's the kind of shit that, you know, especially for people that already have full-time jobs, which Bald Move and Cecily's job and, you know, Jim's girlfriend, all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, twitch.tv, we're definitely going to be using it here and there, but I don't, coming back as a weekly feature, something would have to really change. Oh, one thing that could really change is it does seem like, from everything I'm seeing from Twitch, that they are trying to come up with some kind of Let's Watch, the way they have the Let's Play thing going. And if they come in with a really slick way to secure the rights for a live broadcast, and like automatically that debit from your monthly account, or you can pay a lump sum and try like and let the people like synchronize the watching of the thing. Like if they ever get that figured out, then
if Amazon you know, when they're licensing their movies from these studios, could just, you know, add an extra $1 to the fucking total and just say now our Twitch streamers can stream this movie.
Right. And we don't even, and the thing that seems to work with Hollywood is we don't even know if this thing is a thing. So let's like sign a low contract for 3 years and see what happens. You know, then the writers will strike and everybody get there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that seems like
our Twitch money.
And I keep forgetting that Twitch is tied to Amazon. So absolutely they could do that.
Yeah. Just package a deal with, you know, the movies that they have on their streaming service.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe make it to where only Prime subs
members
can view this stream, and anything that's streamable through Prime like that. I mean, they could just do that.
They could do it.
Because if everyone has a legal right to watch it, so if they could just do that. Mm-hmm. So that might be a path that they're pursuing.
Why don't we write to Bezos and say, look, you helped us out on this Expanse thing. We know you got one more favor in your pocket.
Right. We'll generate some extra pennies where you're losing half of them. We'll generate some extra pennies for us with the live watches.
But I think it would be great when that switch finally flips to have an audience on Twitch that we can just say,
well, plus if that,
now this is what we do.
Imagine that's a new category. Mm-hmm. We've been practicing it for years. Yeah. Like, I think that we would be primed to kind of take over that spot if we did like a couple shows a week.
Especially if we were building some kind of Twitch audience in the meantime. Like, that's kind of why I don't want to rule out Twitch entirely.
Don't want to abandon it. Okay. Yeah. Can we talk about then the Deuce is just not enough people watch the Deuce like The Wire before it.
No,
like,
I feel like the Deuce and the Expanse are one and the same here.
The 10 years from now, people. Well, I think the Expanse will actually has a shot of growing into an audience where the Deuce is just
right. I mean, in terms of
10 years from now, it'll be the new show. Everyone's going to say, "Have you seen the Deuce? The Deuce is so amazing. Oh, it has so much to say about the prostitute." Because you know, we're gonna the next 30 years, we're gonna fight about all this vice shit.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
yeah, I mean, marijuana is the tip of the iceberg here.
Yeah, and then once you start talking about drugs, it's going to be, why are we making, like, every problem that is made by making drugs illegal, like, same thing about prostitutes, gambling, like, it's going to be a sea change.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, like, prying puritanical lollipops from puritanical babies, but...
yeah, but in terms of, like, why they were underappreciated, I mean, these are one and the same in that they just didn't have the audience.
Yeah. I mean, Sci-Fi...
They were great shows that didn't get the eyeballs.
Sci-Fi has built an audience expectation that they have shitty Sharknado-level entertainment, and when they finally get a good show that maybe they're losing a little bit. I mean, I can't fucking understand why Sci-Fi let this happen. Like, even if they're losing money, they're like... But the thing is like, I don't think Expanse even is appreciated critically as much as it should be before, like, now that it got kicked off the air and a lot of critics are like, oh, look at this. Like, we gotta like look at this from a zeitgeist perspective. I wonder if people will actually start giving it another shot. Cause it's not that much to catch up on.
No.
You know,
I mean, what, 13 episode seasons? I mean,
and they're like broadcast 43, 45-minute episodes. So
true,
they're not like the 56, or maybe it's an hour and 13 minutes. You get like you know, it's last season was only 10 episodes. Like it's you're right at like 30-ish hours of content. And now's the time to get in on it, because I think the Expanse it's got another 4 probably. Have they talked about how many seasons they think that this will have?
I assume it could go at least another 4, because there are going to be 9 books in total.
But I heard that they're not necessarily going to adapt all the books, that it's going to be more of...
Yeah, but even, I mean, so we're through book 3 at the moment, so we got 6 more books. I think you could get 4 seasons out of 6 books.
Oh, because I was thinking maybe there'd be a stopping point. Because I think that if Expanse stopped here this year, it wouldn't have been the worst thing from a narrative standpoint. Like, this felt like a definitive close of a lot of plot lines, and like definitely it's a little bit of because it ended the same way like Close Encounters of the Third Kind ends, right? Mm-hmm. You know that a big endeavor and personal and civilization voyage is about to begin, but the story of its beginning has been told. And I felt like
this is the definitive close to Act 1 of the series.
Just like Breaking Bad could have ended after season 4, and it wouldn't, like, you would have missed season 5, but narratively it have felt like a complete product, I think. So
the great thing about The Expanse, having read the 4th book, is that yes, I mean that is absolutely true. It could end there, but they also have some really good directions to take the show.
I
after
imagine
what happened.
If the first third of the story is in the books, that there's still a lot more interesting left to make.
And it's not
mine.
It doesn't feel forced at all. It's like these are the natural consequences of everything that happened before it, and they're just as interesting, if not more so, than what we've already seen.
So the Deuce, like I said, the Deuce is going to have another season. Is going to be over, and then I think there's no saving the Deuce. I hope people will grow to appreciate The Expanse. Are we going to continue to cover the Deuce for its final season?
Oh, I would think so, yeah.
Unless it's going against...
Yeah, I mean, it's all about timing.
Yeah.
For these small shows.
There's going to be, like, if you get a week that has, like... Imagine, like, a week that runs down and you're staring down the barrel of Better Call Saul, Fargo, Mr. Robot, and the Deuce. Boy.
It's hard not to say either Fargo or the Deuce has got to go.
Right.
Because I think those are the two lowest rated shows out of those.
Yeah. Yeah. But it would suck because the Deuce is amongst the better ones. So there we go. Underappreciated Bald Move content for 2018. Not a totally serious category. But I imagine when we do it on the award show, people have questions, and this is our attempt to answer those.